And it's a very good morning to the Gelding. Gelding races are back in the metropolitan area today at Flemington. Who would have thought?
Oh, don't make me laugh so early in the morning, Professor. Good morning, Professor. Good morning, listeners. Yes, a welcome return to headquarters, hey? And I do notice today there's a little race called the Standish Handicap, Professor.
Yes, race 8 on the card, Gelding.
Wasn't that traditionally ran New Year's Day, the Standish being the main sprint race and the Bagot being the main staying race?
Now, Gelding, you're taking us back to a discussion we had several weeks ago about racing clubs playing with the fixture.
Yes. Yeah, interesting. Anyway, either the Standish is 11 days late or it's in its new time-honoured time slot.
Maybe it's the time-honoured time slot, Gelding.
Yes.
All right.
The 11th of January, date to remember.
It's 10 days late, Gelding. All right, we've got a 10 race card. The first one's at 12:20, the last's at 5:38. As you said, Gelding, the feature race is race 8, the Group 3 Standish Handicap, the time-honoured Standish Handicap.
It is a time-honoured race.
Time-honoured, but not by day. It's time-honoured as in name.
Yes, it is a well-known race, but obviously they just can't quite get the right fixturing for it.
Yeah, well, it's worth 200,000, Gelding, so anybody would be happy to run in it. The track's a good 4, but given the temperature's going to be over 30 degrees today, Gelding, we'd advise the punters to keep track of how that's going during the day. I would imagine it's probably going to be upgraded to a good 3 during the day.
Oh, you would imagine so, Professor. But as I've said many times, this racing service at Flemington is the best racing service, I think, in Australasia. So that normally has a good bit of cushion. But you know, it is a racetrack, and it is outdoors, so sometimes there's patterns. So we say, hopefully, look for the patterns.
All right, Gelding, the rail's out 4 metres. What are your 2 best bets for today's program?
Well, Professor, seeing it's your turn to put on the bets, I thought I'd pay you back. So I'm going in race 1.
Oh, Gelding, you haven't left me much time.
Yeah. Well, I thought I might drag this out even further just to get you. Yeah, we can do a big version of it today, but yeah. Anyway, so look, I like race 1, horse 3, Zappo, trained by Simon Zara, a trainer we don't mention much on this show, but a good, honest city type trainer. Horses to be ridden by his apprentice, Houston, claiming 3. This horse, nice little 3-year-old filly by the Autumn Sun, Professor. 4 starts for 2 wins. It's won its last 2. First at Cranbourne at Maiden, and then won at Flemington in a benchmark 70 race over 1,400. 1,400 today, Professor. He benchmarked 70 again. So, look, I'm hoping this horse can find its form, Zappo, round about the 280 to 250, Professor. So, I think as you get closer to the meeting, there's a good spread of horses in there with chances. So, let's just see how they go. But, yeah, I like Zappo to start the meeting off, Professor. Then I'm going race 5, horse number 5, New York Cluster, trained by Envar Yusinov, to be ridden by Jamie Carr, a name we haven't called.
She's recently,
back, Professor. So, yeah, Jamie Carr returning to race riding today at Flemington. This horse last started at Seymour, Professor, won a 1,000-metre race with Blake Shin on board carrying 60 kilos, won by 5.5 lengths and almost set a new track record, Professor. Very impressive win. If the horse does anything like that today, doesn't lose anything with Jamie Carr hopping on board, as Blake Shin's riding up in the course of Magic Millions meeting up on the Gold Coast. But yeah, Professor, my second pick is race 5, number 5, New York Cluster. And you like, Professor?
Yeah, Gelding, I'm just going shortly after your race 1 selection. Race 2, the National Jockeys Trust Trophy, an open race for 3-year-olds over 2,000 metres, Gelding. And I remember when the National Jockeys Trust races were all held at Caulfield.
Yes, we remember being there, Professor.
Yes, Gelding, they've changed venue.
Well, I think they move it around a bit, so which is good. But yeah, certainly a worthy charity to give to the Jockeys Trust.
Definitely, Gelding, definitely, and we've both contributed over the years. I like in this
you
one,
a little
Gelding.
Bit more.
Well, yes, but hey, we've both contributed though.
Yes.
So I like in this race, Gelding, horse number 3, Kicking King, coming out of barrier 6. Only had the 3 starts, Gelding, for 1 win and a placing, so a 33% win rate, 66% place rate. It won its maiden at Geelong over 1,720 metres, Gelding, and then up in class and distance at the Valley on the 6th of December. It was over 2,040 metres. I don't know why they added the 40, but they did. It was second to the top weight, Verona Rupes, Gelding, which is also the top weight in today's race.
Mm-hmm.
Had a look at that race, Gelding. If the race had have been over another 10 metres, it would have easily won the race. It was coming home like the German band, Gelding. It was playing very quick notes, I can tell you.
Professor, the 2040, of course, was because it was at Moonee Valley.
Correct.
The distance of the Cox Plate.
Yes, correct, Gelding. All right, now experienced jockey Johnny Allen's in the saddle and trained by a trainer we don't talk about very much, Gelding, Thomas Carberry.
Yeah. Carberry's are well known in the Western Australian region, Professor, but Thomas, I noticed, is training out of stables at Ballarat, which is becoming a very popular training venue. Now the city ones are being closed at Caulfield.
Yes, Gelding, we spoke about that last week too, didn't we? We spoke about a lot of things last week.
We did.
We had a big soapbox out last week, Gelding.
We did.
All right, Gelding, now there's some terrific each way odds here for punters, currently showing $11 and $3.20.
Oh, I like it.
I tell you what, Gelding, if you can get Zappo up in the first and we can get Kicking King up in the second, we'll be certainly licking our lips, won't we?
Oh, that'll be a nice little parlay, Professor.
That will, Gelding. All right. And I also like in race 3, the Jockey Acknowledgement Plate, a benchmark 78 for fillies and mares for 3-year-olds and above, Gelding, over 1,600 metres. I like in this one, number 1, Smokin' Princess, Gelding, not Smokin' Romans, Smokin' Princess.
I like it, Professor. Smokin' Romans running later in the day, is it?
I don't know, Gelding, is it?
No, Flaming Romans is.
Flaming Romans.
All right. 4.
All right, it's coming out of barrier 5, Gelding. It's had the 16 starts for 6 wins and 4 placings, so a 38% win rate, 63% place rate. Its last start second at Pakenham, but that was on Pakenham Cup Day, Gelding, so it was a very good meeting to be running at. It ran second to Elphinstone. Now, Elphinstone, I did a bit of work on Elphinstone's history. It won the Victorian Sires Guineas at Caulfield in April last year. That race is worth $500,000, if you don't mind.
Yes.
So the form tracks well.
It does. And Elphinstone, of course, is running today too.
Yes.
In race 9.
Are we having a bet on that one too, Gelding?
Oh, I had a look at it, but I went the other ones, Professor.
All right. The good thing I like about Smokin' Princess, Gelding, and why I don't like some of the other starters, is this one's won over the distance. And the apprentice claims 3. Tom Preble, the apprentice, he's got a 10% win rate for his career. That's not bad for an apprentice, Gelding.
Going well.
Just starting out.
Going well. Is royally bred to be a jockey, though. Father being Brett Preble.
Yes, exactly. who we've been on many times, Gelding. Well,
we have indeed.
We've been on the horses he's been on.
We have indeed.
Okay, and it's trained by Patrick and Michelle Payne. They've got a terrific strike rate too, 17% over their career, Gelding. Nice each way odds, Gelding. Not as good as Kicking King though. $3.10 and $1.40 on this one.
Very good. Still nice, Professor.
Oh, very nice, Gelding. You know, as my grandmother used to say, little fish are sweet.
Yes, they certainly are.
My
Especially
two,
with a few chili flakes on them as well.
All right, Gelding, my two for today. Race 2, Horse 3, Kicking King, and Race 3, Horse 1, Smokin' Princess. Now, the Professor's Parlay, Gelding. Heraldus. How many times did we say to each other over the weekend? Bloody Heraldus.
Bloody Heraldus.
7th.
Yes, the red line has come out through Heraldus.
Can I quote an oft term used in stewards' reports, Gelding? Didn't run up to market expectations.
Yeah, we've got to get these market expectations out as a new rating, don't we?
We do, don't we?
Yes.
Well,
very interesting.
But how could you back Molly Knickers, really, Gelding? I know it's trained by our trainer Peter Moody and Kath Coleman, but I did a bit of homework, Gelding. The last six starts from Molly Knickers: 7th, 10th, 4th, 6th, 10th, 3rd. There's nothing there that leaps out off the page at you, is there?
No, and it had been in the market in a lot of those races, and reports were always coming out. It was going to do something. It was going to do something. It was going to do something. But I think it was close to almost 400 days between wins, wasn't it?
Almost that, Gelding. Yeah. Some incredible period of time, certainly over a year.
So for a horse to be in the market in so many events and not to run up to market expectations, Professor, then you tend to drop off them, and then it comes out and does something like that.
Well, this one didn't run to market expectations either. It ran the other way.
That's racing, isn't it? Eh?
It exceeded expectations, Gelding.
It did indeed.
All right, Gelding. As for the other two legs, the Ravens beat the Browns, the Buccaneers beats the Saints. So for the second time for the year, we got 2 out of 3. Unfortunately, we're yet to get on the board, but we're going to get on the board today, Gelding.
We hope so, Professor.
All right. So today's Professor's Parlay, race 5, horse 5, New York Luster, for all the reasons that you mentioned in your summary, Gelding. And let's parlay that. I've had a bit of change of heart since I spoke to you about this off air, Gelding. We're going to go for Novak Djokovic to beat Nishesh Bassavareddy.
Like it.
All that practice in the pre-match warm-up, Gelding, I can now say Mr. Bassavareddy's name without pausing and stumbling over it. Novak Djokovic, 7th in the world, Gelding. He's won 33 out of his last 34 ATP main draw matches, so that'll do me. And we're going for him to win the match.
Yes.
Bassavareddy, 133 in the world, so I think 7 versus 133. 7 should win. That's showing at $1.05. And let's go for the number 1 in the world, not to win the game, because Yannick Sinner to win the game is at $1.003. And as you quite rightly said, Gelding, how in the heck are they going to pay you that?
Yes, I'd like to see the bookies pay that if you have $1 a win on a, Professor.
But we can get $1.08, Gelding, for Sinner to win the first set over Nicholas Jarry. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to take Yannick Sinner to win the first set. Now, I said to you, in his last 4 games, Gelding, Sinner's been 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0. So in his last 4 games, he's won the first set. Nothing to prevent him from winning that here. Nicholas Jarry, $26 in a 2-horse race to win the game, Gelding. So the bookies don't like him.
I like the odds, and I just can't understand the odds, Professor. If you got him $1.08 to win the first set, yeah, sure he's going to go on to win. Hopefully, win the game. But yeah, I don't know. I reckon it's just a good bet, Professor. Well,
yeah, well, I would have thought. Yeah, well, when I saw that versus how much it is to bet on him to win the match,
yeah,
I thought, well, why not take the odds that are favourable for us?
Oh, I like it, Professor.
Yeah. All right, so today's Professor's Parlay is race 5, horse 5, New York Luster, and hopefully there will be a Luster after it wins, Gelding, into Novak Djokovic to beat Nishesh Bassavareddy.
Beautiful.
into Yannick
How do you say that again? His full name?
Nishesh Basavareddy.
Oh,
And that's to win the match, Gelding, and to Yannick Sinner to win the first set against Nicholas Jarry.
beautiful.
All right, Gelding, plenty there to like for the punters today. I think we've given them a bit of value. And until next Saturday at the same time,